Hello, my name is Austin Belzer, and welcome back to the Austin Media Podcast. Before we get into the main show, I have to tell you how you can support my work. The way I find my work, whether it be a review of a movie I rented or paying for Zoom, my Patreon is the way you can help offset those costs. Patrons like Ambula Beulah, Brian Scuttle, David Walters, Joseph Davis of Sip Pop, Matthew Simpson of Awesome Friday, Tom Blackburn, and more help make episodes like this possible. So thank you to all of my lovely patrons out there. Beyond financial support, you can get some pretty sweet perks. Whether you're into 48-hour early access to my reviews and this podcast, monthly surveys, giving direct feedback, commentaries, and just about everything in between, consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/austinbmedia. You can also save 16% if you decide to subscribe annually. On top of that, if you're not ready to subscribe, you can get a 7-day free trial on every tier I offer. With that said, let's get to the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Austin B Media Podcast. This is episode number 21. Yeah, most of those have been in the last, gosh, when was episode 12? Whenever El Conde came out, that's when I did episode number 12.
Mm.
So I've been doing multiple podcasts. Anyway, today I'm going to be discussing the Netflix original film Fair Play, which premiered at Sundance 2023, with my guest Roberto Ortiz. Welcome to the podcast. Tell everyone about your work.
Thank you for having me. I'm mostly active on Twitter, but I post my movie reviews mostly on Instagram. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, do you do the carousel stuff?
Could you repeat that?
Do you do the carousel stuff where you do like multiple photos and kind of swipe to do the full review?
Sometimes it depends how long it is. Sometimes I just put in one caption, but if I go really in depth, which sometimes I do, then yeah, I do that.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
I have one of my contributors, for when he doesn't write for me, he'll do that like little carousel swipe thing.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, which I think is a pretty cool idea. I'm just like, but it won't bring people to the website. But anyways, so before we get into the main discussion, is there anything you want to shout out, like a movie, show, an album? It's new release Friday.
Oh,
Anything?
yeah, I'm seeing Killers of the Flower Moon tomorrow, but I'm seeing Anatomy of a Fall today, and I highly recommend people go see both of those films.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I probably will see Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, but I don't know about your theater situation, but I have to travel like 2 hours to get like the good movies. I've brought this up before in the podcast, but living out in the middle of nowhere with only two theaters that are owned by the same person, it was a miracle I even got the Eras tour. So
wow. If it helps, I know our theater has Killers of the Flower Moon, but me and my dad have to travel like an hour just to see Anatomy of a Fall. So this better be worth the
yeah,
drive.
I'm fingers crossed for you because I
Yeah.
want to see that so bad. I know we talked about it a little bit with Thomas Stoneham Judge on the TIFF podcast. Go check that out because he talked about how on at the Toronto International Film Festival they were doing at the press screening, they were doing like double bills of Anatomy of a Fall and Zone of Interest together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
So
crazy, and by the way, the theater we're going to is sold out. We barely got tickets.
wow.
I know, yeah.
Is it in any special format?
No, it's our local Alamo Drafthouse. It
Oh, nice. I love
Yeah,
Alamo Drafthouse. That's
I know, no.
probably yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, what I was gonna say is that if you wanna go to a theater where people just love movies, go to an Alamo Drafthouse. You could tell the audience just loves it, and I've been there a few times. I went to see Banshees with my dad with a packed theater, and the theater was going crazy for that movie.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because for Banshees, I saw that at a press screening. Check out my review on austinb.media. And then once it came out on digital, because I get Disney digital codes to review, I saw it with other people, and then it was like a completely different experience. It was
Really?
interesting
Wow.
because
Yeah.
it's so isolating doing a press screening because it's 5 or 10 closely knit people where you know each other because you've seen each other at other press screenings. Um, so yeah, it was. I and you know what? I think Was that the day they did a double bill for that? I think
I
it
don't
was. They did a double bill of Banshees and Empire of Light.
Oh, wow, that's an interesting double bill.
Yeah, I think it was because award season was heating up and it was like, okay, we don't want they're coming around. I think Empire of Light came out December 5th, 2022. And I feel like they didn't want people I forget why, but it was super cool. But y but yeah, I used to go to the Alamo Draft House. We had one in Kansas City, but it shut down during the pandemic because they couldn't get enough people to come, and now it's
Oh,
owned by some crappy theater company that owns all the Midwest theaters. Not
oh, that's
AMC, B&B is who owns it now, and I hate their
wow,
aesthetic.
that
So,
sucks.
yeah. But I do have one here, and that's probably Halsey Killers of the Flower Moon.
Awesome, I'm super pumped for it. I'm seeing it with my, whole family tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But with that said, by the way, I hope you enjoy it. If you want to steal my strategy, don't feel pressed about getting up to pee during a 3-hour movie. During Avatar 2, I was like, you know what? This is the boring part. I can leave.
Oh, no, I've actually never had that issue getting up during the movie. Never had that issue.
It must be old man disease.
Yeah.
Old man at 28. But with that said, let's talk about fair play.
Oh, yes.
So, first question. It premiered at Sundance 2023, and I know Sundance had an online option, and this was one of them. Did you get the chance to see it then, or did you see it on Netflix later?
I saw it on Netflix. Didn't even know Sundance had an online option until it was way too late when I wanted to see Magazine Dreams, and I was very mad. At the time, not anymore, considering what happened, but I plan to go next year, but yeah, Fair Play, I heard a lot of buzz, and I was very interested after Oscar Expert reviewed it. I thought, "Oh, this looks really interesting, actually." So, once I saw it on Netflix, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I think I even said so in our DMs after I just finished watching it
Mhm.
30 minutes ago. I think so. Something like that. Because I like to be fresh when it's something new, other than Mission Impossible, because I'm not paying 20 bucks to go watch that again.
Oh
Or
god, no.
Barbie. Although, if somebody wants to lend me the 20 bucks, I'll patreon.com/AustinBMedia.
Yeah, come on, give this guy money to see Barbie, Jesus.
Come on. But jokes aside, I did not see it at Sundance either. The last time I went to Sundance, quote unquote, went was 2021, the year of Coda. And
Ooh,
I paid my way there because I think what's the pass worth? 350 bucks? But
oh my
okay. But here's the cool deal. Sundance has this thing where if you're under a certain age, like I think if you're under 25, they have a discount at checkout where you can be like, "Hey, I'm under 25, give me that discount," and I think it's 50% off. So I think it was
oh,
150, something like that. Yeah. So that
mm.
was a lot better, and I got to watch 30, 40, something like that movies. Well worth
Wow,
it.
that's a lot of movies.
Look, I
Wow,
did nothing but watch Sundance movies that entire Sundance. Like, I just watched 3 or 4 movies a day.
good god. I'm going to
I
AFI next week.
Oh! Uh,
Yeah.
Congratulations for I did that, 2020 and let's see, 2021. I didn't do last year because
Mm.
I cannot afford the trip to LA. And I can't do it this year for the same reason. But for those maybe on the fence, go to AFI Fest if you have the resources to. It's one of
Yeah,
the it's one of the best film festivals out there. I they took a chance on me when they were my first film festival I covered professionally. Like,
really?
first comped tickets and first interview with Sean Glass of 84 Period Piece on in Present Day, which is on my YouTube channel, on the website, everywhere. So they took a big chance, and I attribute that to where I've come today, where I've how the trajectory, you know?
Yeah. Wow,
Um,
that's awesome, man. That's really cool.
yeah, so I really hope you enjoy it. I'll give you some tips afterwards because they relate to press related things. But yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. What are you seeing?
By my schedule appearing. It's funny. The only reason why I'm going is to give me an excuse to go see my girlfriend. We're long distance, and then I saw AFI. I was like, oh shit, this gives me a reason to go out there now.
Yeah,
So yeah, now we're both going. Let me find my schedule. We're seeing a lot. I'm gonna have to miss the first 2 days because of school, but
fair,
we're seeing Freud's Last Session, The
fair.
Bike Riders, Perfect Days, Me, Captain, Memory, All of Us Strangers, American Fiction, and Maestro.
That's a good list. That's a really great list,
Yeah, yeah,
especially the bike riders now, because it
mhm,
got just for those who haven't seen the news, it got pulled from the release schedule.
yeah. I feel so lucky that I get to see it because that's one of my most anticipated movies of the year. If I'm being 100% honest, it looks really good. Though what I'm most looking forward to is probably Freud's Last Session or Maestro is what I'm really excited about.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really interested to see what Freud's Last Session is going to be, how it's going to play.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Mine, I think
Thank you.
if I had to go, I'd definitely catch Fingernails. Um, but then again, it comes out in a month. That's the balance.
Yeah, no. If I wasn't missing those first 2 days, I would 100% catch fingernails. But
Yeah, and before you catch Fingernails, whenever you do, I I don't know if I reviewed it, but his previous film, Apples, go see that first.
I've heard of that. I think the only film I saw of his, he made Dog Teeth, right? The director.
Yeah, yes, he did.
Yeah,
I believe. Come at me in the comments if that's not true.
yeah. Please prove me wrong.
But yeah, I think Apples and Fingernails would make a good double feature
All
because
right.
they're
Yeah, I will 100% will.
we and again we talked about this on the TIFF podcast, but yeah, I can't wait to check that out. Sam Esmail is going to be there with his new film. I forget what it's called. It's a long title. Somebody tell me what it is in the comments, or I'll just put it in the description. But I'm anything he's doing, I'm up for because he
Mhm.
really hasn't done anything since Mr. Robot. And when did that end? 2016, 2017,
Yeah, around that
somewhere
time.
around
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
yeah.
it's been a while.
Hmm.
But with that said, I do hope you enjoy AFI Fest.
Thank you.
Yeah. But getting back to Fair Play, what were your expectations for this movie? And did it meet your expectations?
So I did not have a lot of expectations. I only heard about it. I didn't really go deep into what it was about. I just knew it started in it was about a hedge fund and like a couple, and then their relationship slowly decays. But I my expectation was that it would be good, and it definitely met that expectation. It was I was more surprised, if I'm being honest, by
Yeah.
especially the ending. I was like, "What the hell?" I was more impressed. I was very impressed by it, especially after finding out that the director, this was her first time making a movie.
Yeah.
That yeah, that was like, wow. It looks like, by the way it plays, you think she's been doing this for years.
Yeah, I could definitely see a thing where maybe she directed a few TV episodes and then made a movie. Um, but yeah, I it's flawless. I don't get the comparisons to Marriage Story at all, but what are you gonna do? It's Twitter.
There are comparisons to Marriage Story to this movie. That's okay. I
It's very
don't get it.
reductive.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah, and it was Netflix themselves saying it. Like, Marriage Story can never or something like that, and then a clip of the movie. Weird to duck on one of your own movies, but alright.
I know.
But as for mine, I think they were relatively low as well. I think I was expecting a good time, as in the frame of an erotic thriller. I knew pretty much I didn't know anything about the story other than what the trailer told me. They're shorting stocks, they're dating, and that's the premise, right? And then it's got Alden Ehrenreich and Phoebe Dynevor. I didn't really have high expectations, but given the reception at Sundance, it heightened it a little bit. But yeah, I it surprised the heck out of me. I'll use your words. It surprised the
Yeah.
heck out of me, especially since there's a version of this movie that I think could be done so cheesily and so poorly done, where it could get into soap opera territory. And I think it does straddle that line a little bit, but never really gets 100% there in terms of soap opera. It it
Yeah.
tries to at least have subtext and context to everything, and not, "Oh, you're alive? Oh," you know, it doesn't rely on shock and awe. But yeah, and I think that would go for my initial impressions of the film too. And then I guess overall, I think we agree on this. It just surprised us. I think
Oh, yeah.
it's is the long and short of it. It just with a directorial debut, there's a lot of things you can get into where, maybe you don't know something until you know it, until you get into your second feature. But again, you talk about it feels like she's been doing this for years, and I agree with that. I'm gonna stop talking in circles. But with that said, let's get into the story. What did
Alright.
you think of it?
I thought it was pretty original, if I'm being honest, and I really love the story, and what I think is really good is that she creates the director, I forgot her name, but she creates these 2 characters that you really wanna root for at first. On the surface level, you have this perfect relationship. They're like, I want these people to succeed, but as time goes on, you're like, "Holy shit." And what I think it really succeeds at is that sometimes people fake, like, a lot of things just to keep a relationship going. Like,
Mhm.
how Alden's character is so happy for her at first, but the jealousy builds up over time, and that was done really masterfully because Phoebe's character, she just does not know what's going on, and he makes her feel like she did something wrong when in reality, she just did her job.
And yeah, and I think it almost tries to cast trying to not get into spoilers here. Try not I think it also does a really good job of casting dispersions on what's her character name? Emily. Whether
Yeah,
Emily
Emily.
is a reliable teller of the story.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm trying to dance around spoilers. But are situations where we're in the mindset of Alden Ehrenreich's character, Luke Edmonds, um, where, well, what if she did do that? Because we didn't see what happened. She could have
Mhm.
done the thing that he's
Yeah.
accusing her of, but we'll never know.
Mhm, and
Um,
I think that is, purposeful.
yeah, for sure, especially with the ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, and for you asked the director. Her name's Chloe. Oh, I'm gonna mess this pronunciation up so bad. Chloe Dumont.
That's right. Yeah, Chloe Demont. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. And I think from here, I want to drill down into the specifics of it. I guess this is where I want to get into potential spoiler territory before we get into that, because I don't think we can talk about this film without spoiling major parts of it.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, if you haven't watched the movie, check out now, come back, watch it on Netflix, and then come back. And then really quick, what would you recommend this movie to others? Why or why not?
I 100% will because it really calls for a conversation if we're being truthful with each other. You watch the movie and you think, "This is what goes on in the workplace. This could really start a conversation." You see this woman and she works hard, and yet the people beneath her just think she slept her way to the top, and it's fucking disgusting. It really shines a light on how female workers are treated or viewed. While male workers who work hard and they get the promotion, everybody's happy for them. But when a female does it, it's like she's a slut. She probably fucked the boss. This movie really can help start a conversation about all that.
Yeah, and I think I'd recommend it for the same reason. Um, And I will say that I think it does a really good job at being a psychological thriller rather than a and I think the movie miscategorizes itself. I don't think this is an erotic thriller at all.
Mm-mm, not even
I
close.
mean, there's what, 4 or 5, maybe a handful of sex scenes?
They're pretty graphic. I get that. It does not hold back. My God.
It
But
does not.
yeah, when I looked the movie up before I watched it and it said erotic thriller, I thought, okay, what the fuck? This should be interesting. And then when I watched it, I thought, I didn't get that. It's more, like you said, it's more psychological, especially on Luke's part. That dude
Yeah.
goes through a lot of shit.
Yeah, so I would recommend it. I give it I wanna give it a rating, but at the same time, I don't, because I think this is gonna be a different movie depending on your life experience. Somebody might not like it because of the conversations it provokes, and some people might like it because of the conversation it provokes. Yeah, I and for some, it might be potentially triggering at some points.
Oh,
Um,
oh, yeah, considering what's in it, I could
yeah.
see so people wanting to turn it off because it does get a bit real and a bit graphic at times,
Mhm. Yeah, I'll just
especially.
say I recommend it despite all that. Not despite all that, I recommend it because it just tries to instead of just say, "Here's a story," it tries to make you think about the story,
Exactly, exactly.
which is rare. People think that this is and by people, the people who say there are no original movies, which is a criticism I 100% don't understand.
I those same people just don't go out and watch those movies. We've literally been getting original stuff yearly, but they don't make any money because people don't go see them. That's why Hollywood promotes sequels and remakes more because they know that's what sells. Now, recently, I think now that original movies have been making a bit more money, for example, like Oppenheimer and Everything Everywhere, I think we're going to see more original movies as the time comes, hopefully. But yeah, literally, like last year, it was nothing but original we saw.
Yeah, the movie that won Best Picture at the Oscars was a wholly original movie. So,
Yeah, really. So I've disagreed with that sentiment for a while. It's just the reason why people say that's because they just see what's being promoted. But original movies are being made all the time. It's just go out and find it and watch it. Simple as that.
yeah, for sure. Especially
Yeah.
watch the ones I tell you to watch. But,
Yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. Come on, guys. Jesus.
yeah, yeah, 3 years, come on. But jokes aside, I think now's the time to get into spoiler discussion, and I guess as a warning, we are going to be talking about things that are potentially triggering. So, if I won't say what they are as to not spoil things, but if just maybe check out of this podcast if you don't want to hear if you have any triggers relating to relationships. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Or
yeah,
maybe put a or maybe if you can put a timestamp to when that part ends to make it easier for
yeah,
people.
sure. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I need to get better at doing chapters on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay, to help you out, we started at around I think 28 or 30 minutes. This is
Okay.
where it's about to start. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So let's get into it.
All right.
We're gonna talk about a lot of the themes, so it's just gonna be a theme heavy discussion. So
All
put on
right.
your thinking caps, everybody. So there's I told you this before we started recording, but there's a lot to talk about. So let's
Yeah.
tackle the big one.
All right.
Um, the movie depicts gender roles and sexism in the workplace to a T. So I guess what did you think of the portrayal and how Emily tried to do her own thing?
It's like I said earlier, I really think it was masterfully done, and I really think it does shed a light on how male workers view female workers who succeed better than them. How, for example, as I said, if a male worker gets a promotion, people are like, yeah, he worked hard. But if you see a female worker get a promotion that a male worker wanted, they probably think, oh, she's probably slept with the boss or she slept her way to the top. And it's just really crazy that kind of environment exists, and especially in the movie, they really do not hold back kind of
No.
environment. It really shows you that these men, they're just terrible people. Now, what's really interesting is that they talk about it so much that it starts to affect her boyfriend Luke. That he
Yeah.
slowly starts believing that rumor, even though, well, at least it presents itself that she didn't do anything. But the ending, we don't know. But it just sucks. Honestly, that's the world we live in. Yeah,
Yeah, and to comment on that last part, not the ending, but that rumor, it's like a through line. It's not just like I- it's it's interesting because in a relationship, I'm gonna get, I'm gonna get all relationship talk right now. Their jealousy is a really dangerous thing in a relationship, and I've experienced it before, where I've not had similar questions. Sometimes someone talks about somebody a lot, and then you're like, then you get that self doubt, and then you're like,
mhm,
maybe that thing I heard could be true, and then
exactly. It's
yeah, and
no,
I think that part was handled exceptionally well because, again, like I talked about earlier, we don't see what actually happens in this movie. Whenever you think something is going to happen, it's just cut.
exactly. I'm just gonna say this now. I do think Emily is innocent. I truly think she.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do know the ending kind of presents as like it leaves it up to interpretation, but I think she's innocent. But yeah, you're right. No, especially and I'm gonna be honest, I have experienced jealousy even in my current one because my girlfriend, she's an actress, so you have those thoughts. Oh, what if she finds someone better? But and I've had those discussions with her. We talked it out, and that's how you get better at that. And me and her are in a good place, but I do. It is scary though at times, especially when you hear it constantly. At least for his character, that he's
Yeah.
even though you don't believe it, but you're like, What if people are saying it?" So yeah, it's
Yeah, and yeah, and I think especially, and I guess touching briefly on the ending, I'm of the opposite mind. I do not think she's
really.
innocent because, and I guess jumping around a little bit here, the last thing you hear before it slams to credits is her laughing,
Oh shit. Oh god,
and she also lies to her boss about what happened,
that is true.
going
Fuck,
along the yeah, going along the lines of an unreliable narrator, even though she really doesn't narrate the movie, but she is the main character.
man. Now you're making me question things. Son of a bitch.
It is that kind of movie where I think if you watch it multiple times, you start thinking about things. And like I've said before, somebody count the amount of times I've mentioned Arrival on this podcast, but I overthink things a lot. Why do I mention Arrival? Glad you asked. Because when I saw Arrival in theaters, I figured out the twist to that movie 5, 10 minutes in. It ruined that story for me, and that's something I constantly do. I forget what the example was recently. There was, like, a recent movie with a huge twist that I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense." That yeah, I called Annihilation's another one I called. So, a lot of A movies that I'm getting that I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So, how does that apply to this movie? I was like, "Okay, we're not seeing what's actually happening," and she never fully answers the question of, "Did you?" From Luke, Emily never answers the question of, "Did you do the thing?"
Wait, I thought she kept saying no.
I don't think
Did
she
she actually?
does.
Holy fuck! Wait, really? What? My voice cracked. Wait, really?
I don't think she ever gives a straight answer. Again, feel free, watchers on YouTube or people on austinb.media, hi, to comment if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she never answers the question completely. I think she just redirects it back at him of his jealousy and how he's jealous of her because she got the promotion and he didn't.
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna have to rewatch it then. I could have sworn I thought I heard her say no multiple times.
I think the only time she ever really says no in a really definitive way is to another question. I can't remember exactly the question, but I think it's something she denies something unrelated, completely unrelated.
Wow, this changes a lot of things then.
You can always go rewatch it on Netflix.
That's what I plan to do. It's it's a really good movie, so like I'd
Yeah.
happy to rewatch it regardless.
But another thing, and I think this plays into Luke's story and why I think, how do I want to phrase this? I'll just not phrase it in a question. That's probably the best way. So Luke starts, I don't know, attending some kind of seminar online. The book, like Mastering Your Money or something like that, I believe is the name of the book. And I don't know about you, but did you get hints that they were talking about in an indirect way Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, people like that?
I think so. I think yeah.
Because if you notice his behavior afterwards, he gets really
He
obsessive and possessive.
yeah, he goes on like on a whole nother level. It goes from instead of speculation, he just straight up believes that she's just cheating or cheated.
Yeah. And I think it plays into something that happens later in the film. And I guess we should talk about that. For instance, I don't want to talk about like the actual instance because it might be triggering, but at the party, a thing happens, abuse. I don't know about me or about you, but that really didn't click for me until after, until Emily calls Luke out on it in the apartment. To me, I thought it was like rough play or stuff like that, but apparently not. Apparently, it was much
Yeah,
worse.
yeah. You talking about the bathroom?
Yeah, the bathroom. That's what I'll refer
Mhm.
to it as, the bathroom where physical abuse happens.
Yeah, where at first we're made to believe it was consensual, but then when she calls him out on it, we're like, wait, what the fuck?
Okay, so you got that too.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, because I didn't catch that it wasn't until after, way after, until the ending.
yeah. I just thought, oh, okay, they're freaky. That's what I thought at first.
I mean, hate sex is a thing,
It literally is.
but yeah, it, it, and I think it connects to the book he was reading and just how Luke has been driven about down this path of I deserve this. I've worked for this, and the begging scene where he's begging his boss to give him the new
Oh,
job,
mm.
where he believes that he's I guess to use a Taylor Swift lyric, the man, and that he even though he lost, if you do the math, he has lost this firm $40 million because he loses 15 million uh, at some time before this, and then he loses an additional
Mhm.
25, which I don't know how he doesn't get fired, but whatever. But yeah, I think that arc is so masterfully done because I think it perfectly displays what jealousy can do to a person and what it can drive people to.
It He becomes an entirely different person than what we see in the first half. He's this charming, likable guy who wants nothing but the best for his girlfriend, soon to be wife. But then once he feels like something was like taken away from him, or he unfairly didn't get something, he just changes into this monster that you don't even recognize him. and that was really done well, and especially towards the end. I think once he accepts something, he tries to go back to like a normal person as if nothing happened. And especially during the movie, he manipulates her, he ignores her, and
Hmm.
it was just really. It's like how did I? It's so hard to watch at times. You're like, Jesus Christ, he can't even be happy for her. He just thinks she stole it from him, and it creates a resentment.
Yeah, and the deep kind where it's no, you don't get it is one of his lines. And she's like, no, I do get it. Um,
Mhm.
and I think in that way, this movie is a two-hander. Um, in that this is equally Emily and Luke's story because, like I mentioned earlier, um, anytime we cut from Emily, we're going straight back to Luke and saying, okay, what's his journey? What's he going? What's he doing? Um, and the things he's doing are not good. Yeah, and yeah, but
What I
yeah,
what I do I have to say is that at the beginning she is already happy. At the first part of the movie, for those who haven't seen it, or for those watching this, they present itself that Luke is the one getting a promotion, and she's just happy. She's like, hell yeah, I cannot wait for this. And but yet when she gets the promotion, he can't be happy for her, or at least he says he is, but he's not. And that is also very interesting. That it's just she could be happy for him, but like when it's the other way around, he turns into this terrible person.
yeah, and I think it ties back into the thing of he feels like he deserves it. That he's,
Yeah.
does he say, "You have become my god"?
Yeah, no, he said he used a lot of biblical references when he was like on his knees. He was like he kept saying he mentioned blood is like his wine or something to the boss.
Yeah.
Like it was so weird. You literally cringe watching that scene. You're like, what is he doing? And then finding out that the position was already taken. Oh god.
I'll
It
tell you
was like
what, I'm not even in the finance industry or like office workspace anymore, but I know that feeling of looking to your left and seeing the person that has got your job that you were gunning for. And it's just a
mhm.
deeply soul wrenching feeling because you thought you had it and then at the last second it's gone.
Yeah, especially because he just took a very big chance of embarrassing himself.
Very big. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, you can't forget that. You just can't forget that. Everybody's gonna remember you for that now.
really, yeah. Everyone saw it and they're gonna remember him for something else he does in the movie later
Mhm.
on.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and I think that actually is a perfect veering off point to talk about the company itself. The movie says a lot about work-life balance, the financial industry that gosh, that it's just so insane, right?
oh yeah.
One of the commission checks she gets is for $575,000. And I did the
I
math. That would mean that closing, assuming it was 1 or 2%, or maybe even 10%, that's 5 million or something like that. Closing cost.
oh Jesus, I audibly gasped when I saw that how much he was getting. I was like, oh my fucking god, that's a lot of money. Especially the situation they were in. You saw their apartment. They're not doing well.
And did you catch what I caught with that check?
What did you catch?
Luke looking at it
Oh shit. I think I did. Oh god. Jesus, it just a lot
because
of it I'm remembering now.
she comes home drunk from one of her hangouts with her boss, and like I don't know, empties out her purse or something, and then he sees the check, and you can just see his eyes lock
Yes.
on it,
Yes.
like he's never seen that much money in his life.
Oh my god. It gets worse and worse for him. It just gets worse and worse. Oh
And
God.
and I can't believe I'm about to defend something he did in this movie. I can't believe this, because of who he becomes later. But at this time, he was rational. At this point, he wasn't like off the deep end yet. He does say something that I think is rational because in his quest for finding out what is the truth of how did she get this job, he asks her not to take a 2 a.m. call because who calls you at 2 a.m. to just talk business?
Mm.
Realistically, if somebody called me at 2 a.m., I would have questions too.
Yeah, I'd be like, "What the fuck you calling me for? Why aren't you in bed?"
Yeah, but yeah,
That was probably one of the only times where it did make sense. No, like, at the beginning, you do agree with him a little because it all happens all suddenly. Of course, he'd be suspicious. And yeah, but he does not help his case when he gets more and more off the deep end and starts to just ruin their life.
yeah, and he does it to himself, really.
He does.
But if you think about it, Emily does try to save Luke at multiple points.
She does. She even tries to get him a promotion that you notice he isn't really capable of handling. He's at first you're like, yeah, this guy's a good employee. He works hard, but when you find out how much stuff he's fucked up in the company, there's a reason why he didn't get the promotion. He's a
Yeah,
terrible employee. There's a difference between hardworking and as a hardworking person, you can work your ass off and be terrible at the job, and that's what he is. I know he does work hard. You can tell he's trying, but he's just bad at it. He gets a lot of stuff wrong, and if they were to promote him, he would possibly lose them more than 40 million, if we're being honest.
yeah,
A lot more.
because I mean, in a specific instance where she tries to pull him out of his desperation is when he's buying that book. Because did you notice what the price was?
Wasn't it like nearly 100 or something?
No, it was more.
Oh, oh, I don't remember the price, but I remember it wasn't it like a lot.
$3,000.
Fucking hell for a book.
Yeah, and a seminar and stuff like
Oh,
that. The stuff where people say a course, but you also have to buy the book, and
yeah,
yeah.
no, that bro got scammed. It's as simple as that.
Eh, yeah, and she's trying to be like, "Hey," unintentionally, if you look at it in hindsight, if he had not gotten that book, I think he would have at least tried to better himself, to try to make at peace with the thought of, "Okay, there it" so her boss calls her at 2 o'clock. We live in a competitive industry, the financial industry has parties, and some of them unsavory, and yeah, he would have been fine with it, but now that he has the book, I think he really just snaps because
He
he's
does.
being
I think.
told things.
And remember, if you notice, remember he even slightly insults her too when he read her chapter on how to dress for a workplace. He basically
Yeah,
insults her parents and calls her what, dressing like a cupcake or something.
yeah,
Like,
that's the exact quote. Not exact
like
quote, but he calls her
he
cupcake.
just
Yeah,
like he feels like the book has all the answers, and if you follow everything about it, you're gonna be successful no matter what. When in reality, sometimes books just don't have the answers. You just have to go based off instinct or clearly it worked for her and she didn't follow a book. She just did what she thought was right, and it worked out perfectly.
yeah. What does the big boss guy say? Because she
I
writes
think he's
a what? Go ahead.
I have the movie up right now. I could find his name. He's played by here we go. Found it.
Campbell.
Campbell. Campbell, yeah. Played by
Um,
Eddie Marson.
yeah, yeah. Campbell brings up the what is it? Wall Street Journal or New York Times article she wrote at 17 mentioning how she not only escaped the box or something like that, she's running circles around it,
Yeah. Jeez. I think
which is go ahead.
I think he was just mostly impressed with her than he was attracted to her. I just think he was just impressed. Because look at her. She clearly
I,
just does not give up and stuff. Yeah.
so I guess I'll answer the question that is posed throughout the film, the what if scenario. I do think Campbell tried something,
It is possible he tried to do something. I don't think anything happened. Is what as I personally. It is possible he
and
tried
not
something.
and not that matters.
Yeah,
Not that
I
matters in
mean,
the slightest.
I think even if she did do something, he's a guy of a higher power. If she were to decline, her job is gone. He could destroy it. Though, but like I said, I still don't think he did anything. I just think he's a piece of shit. He is a piece of shit in the movie. He's like an asshole.
Yeah,
Remember, he even calls her a bitch when she messes up one time. I, and then when
yeah,
she
and
redeems it, he tries to forget it even happened.
yeah, and I don't condone of that use of that word ever, really. When, especially when referring to somebody else, yeah, I just have a thing about it. I don't think anyone deserves to be called that.
No,
Um,
no, especially in the workplace. No, keep it out.
and I
Jesus.
think that kind of plays into the power dynamics of this movie at play, not just between Emily and Luke, between Emily and Campbell, Emily and Paul, all the people she's with, because I don't think Campbell talks about blame, cast it all aside. You're done with it, right? Let HR clean it up with a mop or something like that. I do not think that there is not one person to blame in this whole thing, because I know I talk about Luke being an issue a lot. You shouldn't have read that book, but you'll also notice Emily is being pressured to hang out with these people because you just got promoted, and
Yeah,
go to pumps, go to these places, which I still don't think that suggestion was entirely like. They try and play it off, oh, pumps, you want to go there, but once you see the place, it was clear
yeah,
that's the place they wanted to go all along.
yeah. They got comfortable real quickly.
Very quickly. um
Yeah,
and in the meantime, she's just trying to at multiple times she's trying to connect with Luke and say, "Hey, why don't we go out to dinner at this place?" And really trying to do a lot for him. But those power dynamics are too much for him to get past.
yeah. He, God, this movie just was so well written. The characters are just so fleshed out, so opposites. It really is really impressive how much this film really had an impact, at least on the both of us. We've been talking about this film for an hour. It doesn't even feel like that long. Like
Oh,
time is
really?
going by. It's been an hour. Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I'll always say this if I haven't said it enough, which kind of sounds like an oxymoron, but whatever. If I haven't said this enough, I always believe that a director should also write the screenplay, at least have a hand in it, because once you have at least a an idea for where you want the plot to go from a very basic stage, you can direct the heck out of that.
Yeah,
Um,
because since you wrote it, you know what to do with it. You know exactly. You picture in your mind as you're writing it, so it's just easier.
yeah, and then I guess briefly exiting the spoiler discussion, briefly, I do want to talk about Alden Ehrenreich and Phoebe Dynevor. So
Yes,
I don't know.
please.
Yes, I don't know if you've done the research, but for those who haven't, for those wondering where you've seen Phoebe, she was on Bridgerton, but obviously more before that. And then obviously Alden Ehrenreich, you saw him in Solo, but this year these two people are trying to do something very different for their career. Alden Ehrenreich specifically, because Alden
He was
Ehrenreich has. Go ahead.
he yeah, wasn't he an Oppenheimer?
Yeah, he was in Oppenheimer. He did his directorial debut with Shadow Brothers Sunday at Tribeca, which was a
Mhm.
short, I believe. And then he's in this. So I really
He's having
feel, yeah.
he's having a good year, my dude. He's having a really good year.
And I would argue he's the best part of Oppenheimer, besides Oppenheimer himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
But yeah, I think these two are really trying to find a way to say, I'm not just for Phoebe, to say, I'm not just that girl from Bridgerton or that woman from Bridgerton. I'm not just that guy. I'm not Han Solo. Although I will say, if I can use my platform for a second, I love Solo. I don't know why people dog on Solo a ton. Alden Ehrenreich and Lando are the not Lando, Donald
Uh,
Glover are the best parts of it. And maybe the plot wasn't like entirely there, but that's what happens when you fire the director in the middle of shooting a film. So maybe Lucasfilm don't do
wow,
that. Um,
did not know that. Wow.
yeah, it was originally going to be directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse fame, and obviously the Lego Movie. But yeah, these two are really trying to diversify. I hate this term, but diversify their portfolio and really just try and differentiate themselves to say, hey, I can do other things, not be typecast as just this
Yeah.
one kind of person. Because if you look at their filmographies, including TV shows, they really haven't been up too much since their last major projects. Solo, Alden Ehrenreich, rather, he really hasn't done a whole lot since Solo other than Oppenheimer. Booked a few gigs, but nothing like huge like Oppenheimer or Fair Play. And yes, I will assert that Fair Play is a major movie for him. And for Phoebe Dynevor, I think not being seen as the Bridgerton girl is going to help her career a bunch.
This this was one of the best things I've ever seen her in. I think this is her best performance ever. She kills it. I would be so happy if she ends up with an Oscar nomination at the end. If I'm being honest, is she
Ooh, for this?
100% deserves it?
Ooh,
I think so. I don't think it's pop. I'm not going to predict it. I'm not even going to put her in the 10, but I would be a happy man if she gets in. But
I think
at least for at least for me.
I think if we're going to talk about Oscar awards prospects, I think she definitely gets in at the Spirit Awards.
Probably, I think screenplay is its best bet if we're gonna talk. If we're talking about Oscars, I think screenplay is its best bet. I could
Yeah,
see it, being a passion pick.
yeah, because with Zone of Interest and Priscilla and all these big movies coming out, I think somebody else is going to steal it from her. But I do think she should be nominated for something. Phoebe and Alvin
Mhm.
should be nominated for something this year, even if it's this Indie Spirit Award. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I just I would like to see her and Alden get recognized because they each of them respectfully they kill it in the movie. Do more than what they were asked for. I bet they just kill it, and their chemistry is really insane. You really do believe their relationship. They are phenomenal in this. Like one of the best acting we've really seen, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a little bit better this year, a little bit, because I do think there are parts of Phoebe's acting that leans towards melodrama at points. I mean, I'm just gonna call it out. I don't shout acting. I don't like it at all because I understand the need for shout acting, especially when you're like in a relationship and the two people are having an argument. But sometimes it doesn't just feel real at points.
Yeah, I get that.
If we're gonna bring if since Netflix brought Marriage Story into the conversation, I think that's a much more realistic depiction because of an argument, because it's the silent little knife to the heart that gets you in an argument. It's not the shouting match. Although I'm sure that does happen
Mm.
for some people. Yeah, I couldn't relate, couldn't be me. But jokes aside, I think they do really well. And then let's just tuck back into spoiler discussion.
Oh,
Yeah, just like tuck right back in. Uh, yeah, I guess I say that and then my mind goes blank. But yeah, I think it's a very well thought out movie that really tries to see both sides of the argument but also try to say, oh, here's the aspersions one could cast if needed, and here's conversations you can have in your daily life, especially in terms of, I think, not just power dynamics. I think work-life relationships, or work-life balance. That's what it's called. Where maybe you don't answer the phone at 2 a.m. Just don't answer the phone past like 9 o'clock. Once you're off, that's my rule. Unless it's
Yeah.
email. I'm
Yeah.
bad about email. But yeah, what else do we have to talk about?
Unless you want to talk about the ending, I don't know.
Yeah, let's just go right into it.
Okay.
Um,
Give me your thoughts.
yeah, I briefly did, but I think this is where I started thinking back retrospectively about the whole movie, where I said, okay, is she a reliable narrator? Is she reliable? Could Luke be justified in his concern for how, like, why is she going out, getting drunk? Why is she answering call? I don't know why I'm keying on a 2 a.m. thing. Maybe it just struck a chord, but yeah, I think it really starts to have the viewer question everything they've seen up until then,
Yeah.
especially with the laugh. That's what gets me is the little split second laugh.
Yeah. I may maybe she was just putting on a mask all along, and that true. Maybe she did do all that stuff that he was or accusing her of. And I do like that it's left up to interpretation. It's not just spoon feeding you. It really wants you to think. And while Luke is not justified in a lot of the stuff he does, whether she did it or not, dude goes crazy. He
Literally.
he goes actually crazy. But yeah, she like I said, like you said, she even lies to the boss to cover her own tracks because she does not want to take accountability for mistakes she's even made. It is possible, and I do like that you are having this discussion on what the ending really means. Now, as I've said before, I truly think she didn't do anything, but it is left up. Maybe she did. It's possible.
And I guess thinking back on it, I think aspersions are cast even earlier. Not earlier, but really you get hints of it strongly being the case when Luke tells her about the CVS deal or something like that, where if we do this, then we'll make a bunch of money. But yet she gets the commission, doesn't tell Luke about it, doesn't give him credit for finding it, and just kind of she goes to pumps and he stays home drinking.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
and I think
nobody.
that's why go ahead.
I was gonna say, literally, nobody's perfect. Nobody's an angel in this. You
No.
The thing I love most about this movie is that nobody is perfect. You cannot it's hard to side with a lot of them. It's easy to side with her because mostly you follow her, but she does a lot of bad things and he does worse things, but every other character they're bad. The male coworkers, even her bosses, they're all bad people.
And I think it's credit that you could see the ending two ways because let's not be fooled here. Doesn't tell his parents that they got engaged. That's I'm waving the non-existent red flag, but that's a huge if you get engaged, you tell people. Even if it's okay, let me tell you a story about a relationship
Oh,
I was in. Okay. It's it's been a few years. So I'll just say I had an office relationship. So I know what it feels like to obviously not in the same way, not in the same way that this happens, where I liked this woman, asked her out, we started dating. Other things happen that I won't go into. And let's see, where do I want to go with this? Because I want to tread lightly. Yeah. Like I get the what if everyone finds out? The oh, what if? I get that. Understandably. But presumably, if I had and I'm dodging around some personal details that I'm sure she wouldn't want revealed, that if we had gotten engaged, probably would have never happened. What if we're in the what if section? I probably would have told people immediately, like within 5 seconds. even if it got me in trouble at work, because at that point, is work more important to me than a relationship? And I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
the big crux for me. And I think to his credit, to the script, and thinking who's to blame. I think that's the ultimate question it asks in its ending is who's to blame. Even though it tells you not to, it indirectly asks you who is to blame here.
Mhm.
So yeah, I
Well,
100% understand it.
yeah, if just me, I'd probably tell people before I got engaged that I was gonna pop the question. It maybe that is a good point. I genuinely forgot he didn't tell his parents. Yeah, didn't her mom, Emily's mom, tell his parents for
Yeah,
him? Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
and that's
Jesus
when
Christ.
and that's when he disappears for 5 days or something like that, or a
Oh
few
yeah, it was
days.
like
I don't.
yeah, and then when he comes back, he acts like nothing happened.
Yeah,
It's he has
yeah,
issues.
he does. Let's talk about the big scene. Well, not the big scene. When he returns to office and he just looks like crap, like he's been sleeping on a park bench.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I felt for him, but I did feel for him in that moment. I'm like, oh man, yikes, this is not a good look. But you realize you got to get the work done and you need the job. And
Mhm.
yeah, it what ensues is bananas to say the least.
Oh. Oh, yeah, and he does technically land back on his feet towards the end. Remember, he gets, like, a job, but with his brother's firm out of
Yeah.
state? Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Going back to the ending. I have a theory. I want to see if you think this theory is correct. So, my theory is she laughs because she's about to stab him again. Because I think this is my rationale from what I know about Emily from the limited time we see her in this movie, from when that switch flips, is that she is willing to do a lot to keep her job, even willing to like say because somebody asks at one point or somebody says, "I know the way you look at him."
Yeah, they're like, "If you sleep with him, like, we wouldn't care." Because people in the office, I think it's implied that they already kinda know, 'cause they talk to each other openly. She goes to his desk in front of people.
Yeah, and my theory is she is willing to kill him for to make sure he doesn't tell the other side of the story. To see
Oh.
to make sure that her version of the story is the only version of the story.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't know what the benefits of him telling his side of the story would be, but it would at least be a little bit better than, stalking, the R word, and all the other things that happen. That
You
she's a
know, he
dilemma.
did.
And
Remember,
the
he
R
did
word
try.
does happen.
Yes. After what I like okay, the film doesn't really show us that's what it was. We only find out that's what actually happened until, like, towards the end.
Yeah.
But you are right. He doesn't have a problem telling people. He did try, but she barely was able to save it. But yeah, he just screams, "She's been fucking me this entire time. Okay, bye." And then he storms off.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think what happens after this ending?
Oh gosh. Obviously, I don't think she murdered him, but I do think that I don't know. I would hope he doesn't win at the end. I hope he doesn't really go anywhere, but I just think she keeps it going. She won. There's no way he could come out on top in the end. No way.
Yeah, she gets him to cry.
Yeah, no, he thought you could tell by the way, when he's in her apartment, he thinks he won. He found a job. He's gonna be moving away. He doesn't have to look at her ever again. But what I think is that she wanted to leave her mark on him. Because
Mhm.
what she makes him do, she makes him beg and cry. You can't fucking forget that kind of thing. That's unforgettable. What I truly think is that she wanted to leave a mark. She didn't want him to go without any consequences. She made sure he was going to remember.
I would remember that.
Yeah, that's Yeah.
But I guess that ties into why I think she killed him. Because I don't think she, and this is maybe me going way too far with the idea of what she would do to win. Because even though I think she thinks she won, there's I think there's that thing in the back of her mind where he still gets to go to San Francisco. He gets off
Mhm,
and he still gets to do his own firm. No,
mhm.
so that's why I
It
think.
you know, it is truly unfortunate because that does happen sometimes where someone, like somebody abusive, could just win at the end. They could just leave and just forget it even happened and go on with their lives. What I think the movie was trying to do was to make sure that that guy just did not leave scot-free. She was gonna leave a mark on him. She was gonna make sure that you're never gonna forget me. How she could haunt him. That kind of
I
thing could just
mean,
haunt you for the rest of your life, man.
he's gonna have a scar here on his hand,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
so
yeah, because she does, like, literally slash at him a few times.
yeah, he
Yeah.
goes for the knife, and then she slashes his hand. I think it's like a little nick because I think he's trying to pull it, and
Mhm.
but the shoulder gash. Anyways, semantics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think this is a film that encourages you to think both before, during, and after. And I
Mhm.
kind of wonder, and I wish had watched this like earlier in the week to see if it would have this same effect like days later. But I wonder if I'll keep thinking about this over the next few days.
I couldn't get it out of my head after I watched it for a bit. Though, oddly enough, I really didn't think about the ending. I really thought it was just simple that she left her mark, but I just God, you do make me wonder, maybe she actually did murder him. It is that would be an interesting that would be really interesting, actually.
Yeah, because you talked about there's cases where in abuse situations, the person gets off, gets scot free. And I think just because of that, you also see a lot of situations where the snap happens, where it's no, he can't.
Mhm.
And I'm going to make sure by killing.
Yeah, she even says herself that he's just trying to act like nothing happened, that after what he did to her, it wasn't that bad. At least to him, in his mind, he's like, "She could forgive me, she could just forget about it." But what he did to her, he manipulated her, he ghosted her. He just made her feel like shit pretty much every day, not being open with her. And I truly think if they just had a conversation about it, none of what happened would have happened.
Yeah, I think there's a version of this where let's just think back on it. I think if initially when he was like having those doubts, because after my own uh, in in one of my relationships, I had to have the talk of should I be jealous, and I just had an open communication with her of hey, do I need to like worry about this? And then after we had the talk, I was good. No more.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had those exact same conversations with my current girlfriend multiple times, multiple times, and it really does help because it helps ease your nerves if you like having, especially me, and especially I'm dating an upcoming actress. You get a lot of worry because it's a very competitive industry, and you've seen the rumors in Hollywood. You know what happens, but it's good that you have somebody who is willing to communicate, who is willing to be honest with you. And I think that's the most important part of relationships in general is just communicate, be open with your feelings. That's even if it's uncomfortable, it does help.
Oh, we broke up later, but not because of that.
Okay, never damn, goddamn.
I sorry, I did not want to give the impression. No, that's long over. Yeah, but yeah, I think that kind of brings us to. I think jealousy is as easy to resolve as just having that conversation of just being
Yeah,
open and honest with each other. So yeah, I totally agree. If you have that conversation, these things probably wouldn't have happened.
exactly. Exactly. Or maybe it
Yeah.
would have
So
if he unless that guy was truly crazy. Do you think I might ask you this, do you think that was the real him? Do you think this whole time he was putting on a mask until until she got the promotion over him, and then the mask slipped.
There's a version I think that could lean itself to that, but no, I think he was genuinely happy for her until I think it's I think it was really that book that really just put that
Mhm.
what if seed. And again, I know we've talked about this a lot, but that what if seed is a dangerous seed to place into somebody's mind because
Oh, yeah.
what if questions, there was an entire Marvel Disney Plus show on the concept of a what if. Um,
Mhm.
because it is literally the question is endless. If it wasn't, did she sleep with her boss? It was to get the promotion. It would be something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I do not think that was a mask. Or sorry, I think he was being genuine the whole time until
Mm.
he read that book, and I think that quote unquote radicalized him
Yeah.
uh, into using what if as his excuse rather than the cause.
Yeah.
Because I would say it would be a mask if that actually happened. If he knew without a shadow of a doubt that it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Alright.
But otherwise his accusations are baseless.
They literally
Um,
are. It's just a rumor that people started because she was just successful, and I guess to cope with that, they're like, "Oh, she's just a whore." Simple as that.
and I mean, I don't think he should be taking the advice of people who literally relay a story about incest.
Yeah. It's
So
it's just unfortunate. It's just it's very unfortunate.
yes, I don't think it was a mask. It's just seeds were planted in him
Mhm.
that really just set him on this path, however dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
I think, gosh, I don't think we have. I think we've covered just about everything. At least I'd hope so.
yeah. This wow, time flew by, man. Holy crap.
Yeah, I love this movie, and I
Mhm.
think I'll wait on rating it on Letterboxd because I I think if it's a 4 or 5 star will depend on whether I still think about it in
Mhm.
date. And if
Alright.
so, I guess with that said, thanks for listening to the Austin B Media podcast. I have been your host, Austin Belzer. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a rating and review on your favorite podcast app. You can follow me on social media at Austin B Media on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Pebble, and Threads on the platform formerly known as Twitter, aka X. You can follow me at Austin B Media _. But if you fancy Letterboxd, I'm on there as Austin B Movies. And where can people follow you on social media, Roberto?
My same username is Roberto Ortiz on Twitter and Instagram and Letterboxd. It's where I'm mostly active. So yeah.
Awesome. Have a great day. Until next time.